Kir Ianulea couldn't sleep a wink all night, too giddy with joy that his dear Acrivița had come around. From now on, life would be smooth sailing, old boy. Toward morning, just he began to nod off at last. "Crab!" She took him in her arms again and whispered, "Sweet Ion Luca, I want to ask you something. But promise, you won't say no." "When have I ever denied you anything, my soul?" "Well, here's the thing. Daddy would really like to see my little sisters married off too. He doesn't want them growing old as spinsters in the house, and Daddy doesn't have much left to give them in dowry. If he weren't such an honest, noble-hearted man, he'd be quite well off by now. He's owed money by many great boyars, but what good is that if he can't squeeze a coin out of them for the time being? Of course, once he closes his eyes for good, you will be the principal heir. You'll deal with those boys like a true merchant, squeeze and try and get every coin owed. And so I thought, why not help him now? Let's prepare a modest dowry for my sisters. After all, who gets married these days just for love? Only I had the luck to find a man like you, handsome, rich, generous, and so in love with me." And with that she hugged him tight and kissed him. "Very well, little dub. Oh, how should I know? 2,000 gold coins each." "Gladly, my soul." "Remind me tomorrow to go visit your father and count all the money." "Now come, darling, let's get some rest." But she cuddled up again and said, "Listen, my brothers, I was thinking maybe you could give them a small bit of capital so they could start a business too. They're strapping young lads now. It's not right for them to keep living off old dad like leeches, set the table, clear the table. What do you think? Am I wrong? My sweet chick, don't you always agree with whatever you say? Just remind me in the morning. Give me one more little kiss, Ion Luca. My light, the world's solace." He gave her another kiss. They fell asleep like two freshly bathed babies. The very next day the matter was settled. Both sisters received dowries, and both brothers were given capital. After a few more days, having received from their older brother-in-law a full detailed crash course in business, as taught by a man of the world, the lads set out with their money belts full. One boarded a ship in Galați bound for Smyrna and the eastern lands. The other took a merchant caravan from Brasov toward Leipzig in the west, the way traders traveled back then.
From then on, feasts, revelry, day and night, meals laden with delicacies and extravagance, parties and music with dozens of guests. Things continued this way and that. Kir Ianulea kept dipping his hands into the money chest, kept taking handfuls, putting nothing back in, till one day he scratched the bottom of the chest. He hadn't had the habit or time to count what he had in the chest till now it occurred to him to do just that, and he didn't need much patience. Only about 300 so pounds remained, enough maybe for simple food and minor expenses for 2 or 3 weeks. But he thought like this: then what do I care? Tomorrow the boys will return, we'll start trading, and with lots of effort and a little luck refill the chest, we still have credit enough. And he started seeking loans. The brokers ran around like madmen trying to find him money at any price. Previously he had paid rather high interest rates, now reached the point of paying increasingly steep usury. Initially it wasn't noticed much, but it didn't take long, and the traders discovered that Kir Ianulea was in serious trouble, and especially since there was a major economic crisis affecting the town at that time. His credit completely disappeared. Even 100% interest barely found him funds, and not even significant sums, just enough for snacks. All his hope rested on the return of the young men who, he couldn't imagine why, were taking so long when all the other merchants who had left at the same time, even later ones, had already returned from their travels, each with their cargo, at the appropriate time. Apparently the brothers-in-law had reasons to delay. When the older one was returning from Smyrna, his ship sank, and he, inexperienced in trade, had forgotten to insure it. The younger one in Leipzig market encountered some Greeks who always crowded the bustling fairs. He partied with them at German beer halls all day, and in the evening went together to a compatriot's cafe in a secluded alley near the town hall to play a game of 11-card blackjack, and then speedily a round of poker, and so from candle lighting until near morning they left the young man broke. The boy had nothing left to return home. When the news spread, Kir Ianulea's creditors became gravely concerned he would end up bankrupt, and they all gathered at the cafe at Hanokute to discuss what should be done to keep him under constant watch day and night, lest he run away for the payment deadlines, as bankrupts often did. What was he supposed to do now? Fallen into poverty, disgrace, and shame.
They would first throw him in prison, and then when released, would have to stretch out his hand at the gates of those he had stuffed with so many delicacies and gifts. He didn't dwell long in thought and realized he had no choice but wash away his misfortunes quickly to go, wherever his eyes led him, beyond the Red Sea. Thus, early in the morning, he quietly got up, gathered what little was left at the bottom of the chest, went downstairs to the stable, ordered a saddle placed on a sturdy horse mounted, telling the stable boy he was going to Snagov for fresh fish, as he had guests for dinner tonight, exited through the gate at a walk. Onward he went. Dawn had broken, so climbing uphill and looking back into the valley, he spotted a large group of riders galloping seemingly after him. Indeed, his suspicion was justified. The merchants had caught wind and set off quickly after him with constables from the Aga. He tried to veer off the main road and head right downhill, but encountered trenches. The sturdy horse stumbled and threw him flat on his back. Then the man stood up, abandoned the horse, and proceeded on foot. He climbed over some vineyard rows, jumped over them, then another ditch and other fences until finally exhausted, he stopped in front of the modest vineyard of a short, stocky Marg Mat, who was just washing his eyes in the morning sunlight outside the wine cellar. Kir Ianulea, upon seeing him, said panting, "What's your name?" "Good morning, sir. They call me Negoiță," and Ianulea, and barely able to hold himself together, the pauper stepped inside and said, "Brother Negoiță, do me a favor and save me. Some enemies are chasing me to seize me and ruin me. Hide me somewhere around here, and I'll make you rich. And if before I leave I cannot prove I can enrich you, then accept that you can hand me over to the enemies yourself. I beg you, don't abandon me to destruction. I beg and beg again." Aren't they noble? Because to be honest, I won't get involved with noblemen. They are merchants. Then I'll save you. He hid him beneath a pile of straw, tossing some corn husks on top. And just then, here came the enemies. "Hey friend," one asked, "didn't you see someone passing by here earlier?" "I didn't see anyone." "We'd give you a good tip if you told us where he went." Well, if I didn't see him." "Tell us, hey," said a servant, raising his whip. "You can kill me if you want, but if I didn't see him."
"If the man didn't see him, he didn't see him," said another. "Hurry ahead, we're wasting time." They left, some riding, some walking, some one way, others another, running like mad. After they left, Negoiță climbed a tall mulberry tree and looked all around to confirm they had departed properly, and then he slowly came down and pulled the fugitive out of hiding. "I saved you! Now, show me Kir Ianulea. Will you keep your word?" "Dear Uncle Negoiță, you don't know how grateful I am and how much I want to keep my word from my heart. And to make you understand, I can repay you. Please sit here beside me so I can tell you who I am and have you listen to all my misfortunes." And Kir Ianulea told Negoiță everything, how he was sent from the underworld by imperial command up to this very hour. All in full detail, which Negoiță listened to with great pleasure and attention. "And now, Uncle Negoiță, listen closely how I can enrich you. Whenever you hear that the devil has entered any woman, wife, daughter, even if she is from any location or background, know that it's me. Immediately come there, for I won't leave her until you know, chase me away. The husband of the woman or the parents of the girl will reward you generously." What do you say? Does it sound profitable? "Why not?" answered Negoiță, smiling, and Kir Ianulea, after thanking him once again, went on its way. After this, and descending Negoiță into town with some premium cherries for sale, he learned from the vendors that one of Zamaricul daughters from Kalantina, who had recently become engaged to a Bogasiro from Bucharest, had been tormented by the devil for about 10 days. What hadn't they done? Remedies, incantations, prayers, all in vain. The parents of fiancé cried constantly, watching her waste away. She spoke in all languages without having learned them, babbled continuously, and reveal all sorts of secrets and rumors wherever she might have learned them, from which people gathered around, listened, and crossed themselves.
That the youngest brother, barely a mustache showing, the pale-faced monk staying with Reverend Archimandrate Chrysanthus in the Metropolitan Cathedral yard, resembling a cantor in appearance, was actually the youngest daughter of Ristash Muscalagil from Plieshta, and countless other absurdities. Who could possibly remember them all? Upon hearing all this, Negoiță emptied his baskets from the vegetable sellers he could grab and hurried straight to see the afflicted girl. And upon arrival, he pushed into the crowd gathered and told the parents and fiancé that he could rescue the girl if they gave him 100 gold coins. Naturally, the poor people didn't hesitate. 100 it shall be. Then Negoiță approached the suffering girl's ear and, pretending to exorcise her, whispered softly, "I've come, Kir Ianulea, as agreed." "I understand," whispered the demon. "But frankly, I didn't expect you to be so naive as to settle for 100 gold coins. What will that amount do for you? You should have asked for more, but since you erred, I forgive you this time. Now I go to Craiova and enter the wife of the Kaimakam. Come there next week. Don't make me wait too long. I have other matters besides yours. The Kaimakam loves his wife dearly. He is rich and generous. Calculate carefully in this role. For after this, you have no power over me anymore. Know that after this, I am free from any word, and we have nothing more to share together." Saying these things, the demon departed. The young girl recovered. The parents and fiancé didn't know what to do from joy, and Negoiță, taking his 100 gold coins, headed home to prepare for the long journey. He sold his produce the next day to a Wallachian. On the third day, he bought a small horse with all the trappings, from saddle, blanket, and saddle to stirrups. On the fourth morning, he departed. This was on a Wednesday. Traveling by day, resting by night, slowly but steadily, step by step, by Tuesday evening, the traveler arrived at the outskirts of Craiova, asking from person to where a merchant like him might lodge. They directed him to an inn across from a large church. He handed the horse to the stableman and entered the tent where there were other travelers to brace himself with a glass of brandy and some appetizers before heading to his room. It was already quite dark. Before frying some cold cuts, he sat at the table deep in thought. While sitting like this, he heard bells ring and asked an Arnott seated at another table, smoking his pipe, what holiday was being celebrated the next day. It's the vigil.
From the Arnaud and the innkeeper, he quickly learned it wasn't a holiday the next day, but that services were held day and night in all churches for the relief of the Kaimakam's young wife, who was tormented by spirits and couldn't be healed no matter what. All the skilled old women, all the doctors from Sibiu skilled in such ailments, all the charms and prayers recited by the bishop and bishops with 40 priests, useless. The woman had terrible fits. She constantly jumped and danced wildly until they had to tie her up. While tied, she trembled from every joint and groaned as if burning in fire. If they released her, she began jumping and hopping again, and hopping and jumping till tied again, without a moment of rest, and without taking even a drop of water in her mouth. People were horrified. Hence the continuous services held at churches. And Negoiță, fearing his master might wait too long, gave a coin to the Arnaut and begged him to hurry and lead him to the palace. Upon arrival, the situation was tense. As the patient always worsened at nightfall, a number of ladies and servants held the poor young woman tied in wet sheets, thrashing from head to toe. Priests in great numbers served her and smoked her with censers, while her husband wept, constantly making prostrations. Suddenly, an Arnaut came and shouted aloud, "Your Grace, don't be angry. There is a man here from Bucharest. Especially, he claims he knows how to cast out evil spirits like hers and promises to heal her immediately." Enlightened in his despair by the last rays of hope, cried out, "Bring him in!"